we're so happy to have you on with us today.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So we are so excited because we've been seeing a big trend of a lot of more people talking about manifesting and doing a lot more of the things that you do. And so I guess it's a good time to be you, right?
That's it.
Good.
Yes. Yeah. And like it's interesting because I think manifesting has been around as a concept for a long time, right? And I don't know about you, but like when I think of manifesting, you think like, oh, the luxury cars, the fancy holidays, vacations, right? And the luxury homes. But I think that there's something much deeper and much more profound beyond just these like glitzy goals that we could be aspiring to. And that's really, where intuitive manifesting steps in because it looks at things from a very different angle. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and you quite literally wrote the book on it, right?
Yeah, that's it. 100%. Yes.
Well, good. Well,
Yeah.
tell us about this book because I think everybody needs to know about this right about now.
Yeah, fantastic. So I really feel like the core element, the core essence really of intuitive manifesting is instead of going and looking outside of ourselves and looking like, what does this person on Instagram have? What are they attracting? What is this person down the street? Oh, look at their fancy home. Oh, my poor little home here, right? Instead of looking out all of the time and going, maybe that's what I want. That's what I want. We're actually bringing that focus back inside and going, what is really true and right for me? What is it that I truly desire in this time? And then how can I start to navigate and create my life in a way that can really honor what is coming through for me? Because again, I think manifesting can so often be like this forcing, pushing, striving, trying to get the thing that you think is going to be like that pinnacle. But so often, you might end up completely burnt out, exhausted, trying to get there, or you even get to that goal and you go, oh, is that it, right? And we go like, oh, we're straight on to the next goal after that. And so again, intuitive manifesting is just really bringing our energy back in and to say, what is right for me in this moment? What is most aligned with my highest good? And how can I navigate in more of a flow so that things are happening with grace and with ease? Instead of forcing and pushing and striving, how can we be in a place of receiving, of guiding, of listening, to those intuitive nudges that come along the way to say, hey, why don't try this direction? You might think that it's going to go in this direction, but actually, let's see what happens when we move things in this direction. And you find it much easier.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is maybe those sort of daily habits, or trying to keep yourself in that mindset all the time. So, what are some good practices for that? Because part of it is putting yourself in a routine of picturing these things and bringing this to the surface, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think you've actually hit the nail on the head here because it isn't so much about just getting to the goal and go, yay, I'm complete. It is a practice. It's like, how do you show up every day to be in a state that is more aligned with intuitive manifesting? And some really simple things, like let's say if you want to bring in more wealth and more abundance into your life, start your day by stepping into that place and going, okay, what would it feel like if I was really wealthy? What if I could even just pretend as if I'm a very wealthy person? Well, what might I be doing differently about my day to day? What would I do and what wouldn't I do, right? This happened to me earlier on in my business journey when I knew I wanted to have $1 million business. And, I was trying to do all of the right things. I had all of the strategies and did all the things, but I just was exhausted from all of the doing. And then I decided, well, what if I was more focused on the being? What if I woke up every day and said, all right, well, what would $1 million CEO do today? And I started to make much better decisions. I was like, would $1 million CEO be answering people's emails directly, right? No, they would have a help desk. So I started to create a help desk in the company and, the pricing of our products and so on. So I started to shift quite a lot just simply by stepping into the state that I wanted to bring in. So this is something that we can all do. Whatever it is that you're aspiring to create more of, like more joy, more freedom, just start the day by going, okay, what might it look like if I step into that place of joyfulness? then how
Mm.
might I go about my day? And how might that be a shift to, every other day when maybe it's just I pick up my phone and I, get absorbed into social media and so on. So it's being much more intentional.
Hmm. And one thing that's kind of people are also turning in the right direction on, but was like a little taboo before, is the tarot cards, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people think of tarot as like this fortune telling tool, very mysterious. And, you're going to tell me what's going to happen in my future. And hopefully it's all good. And if it's bad, that's, terrible, right? But I use tarot in a very different way. And I teach tarot in a different way. And I see it as actually a tool for empowerment. It's a tool for self-awareness. It's a tool for, really understanding what's happening in the present moment, because that's where you can actually take the action,
Mm.
and then guiding your future. So instead of predicting future, I think create the future instead, right? And tarot will help you do that. Now, it interweaves with the intuitive manifesting process because it helps us get outside of just our conscious mind, right? Our
Mhm.
conscious mind, it's great, it does all the thinking, but it can only take us so far. And when we are looking at like intuitive manifesting, when we've got to be able to identify what's a block for us, what's getting in the way of maybe wealth and abundance, what is actually really in alignment for us when it comes to wealth and abundance, for example. This is where tarot can help because it helps us get deeper into our subconscious mind with the
Mhm.
symbolism, the stories that are presented in the cards. And then from that place, you've got access to a much deeper part of yourself that can make much longer lasting changes so that you can then continue creating your future just as you like it.
Oh, that's great. And do you keep a deck on you at all times?
Always. Here we go.
That's probably one right there. Yeah. I was
Yes.
like, all right, let's do it. I'm like, well, I don't
Yeah, no.
know.
Hey, you want to play?
All
I
right,
always
let's
have
do
my
it.
cards out. Yeah, yeah.
Let's do it.
What are
And
you?
I think this is good for people to see too. To say, oh, okay, yeah, so, because I
Yeah.
think some of us grew up around the, you'll see the strange, gypsy kind of ladies, and then she's very mystical, but it's very practical, really, right?
That's it. Yeah. And so I'm curious if you're wanting to kind of jump in the hot seat, like what is it that
Yeah.
you're calling in your life right now?
Mhm. Well, I guess there's a lot of good things going on right now, and a lot of changes. But of course, if I got a book coming out, or a book that just came out, a new show, lots of good things, positive businesses, things that are outside of all entertainment. But also, I still feel like there's still things that could be better. That maybe there are some blocks, and that's kind of it just need a little bit of guidance. Maybe in this way.
All right, awesome. Let's play and let's just see what
All right,
comes up, right? So let's tune
perfect.
into some of those blocks that might be coming up for you and see, okay, what are the blocks that are here? Okay, let's see.
Hopefully, there are not too many blocks. Maybe it's just all.
Yep. Here we go. We've got the King of Swords here. Now, if you're just listening, this card shows a king, obviously, sitting in a stone throne, and he has a sword, which is held upright but slightly on an angle, which tells us that he's still able to be quite flexible, but he's very clear and direct in what is true for him and very much in his power. And so I'm curious for you, maybe, what is coming up for you around what is true for you, what it is that you are willing to really stand for and take a stand and firmly believe in. And then maybe it's like, where are you a little bit more flexible, a bit more bending in the wind, and knowing what's appropriate for what situation, where you've got to be decisive versus a bit more flexible. How does that land?
Yeah, I mean that's about right. There's a part of what I'm trying to do is bring more positive messages out there, and and put out just content that's all you know uh it's just inspiring to people, but it's also that it's also tough, and what else I'm trying to do, because people like a lot of people like the sillier kind of content, or something that's a little more scandalous, but I'm kind of firm and in what I want to do. They can do that stuff. I want to do this stuff.
Yeah, so I'm hearing you want to be a little bit maybe more serious in
Yeah.
what you do. And
hmm
I always am keen, like, what do you see in this card? What is your innermost mind leading you to? What stands out to you?
Well, maybe I mean, it's good to be king, right? If you can be, but also, the sword, right in front of me, kind of tells you, like, but you got to protect yourself too,
Yeah.
but also the king is alone. There's no queen, so
Interesting. Yes, yes, this is great. And do you see, even if we just kind of step back of what we've just experienced here, yes, I could share some insight from the card. I've been reading cards for like 25 years, but I
Mhm.
assume for you, this is a fairly new practice, but look at the insights you've already started to gather just by using the symbolism and the imagery in the card to go, okay, maybe, yeah, what does it really feel like to be a king? Am I willing to be the king without my queen? Like, and kind of playing with those different energies as well. And maybe it starts to open up and expand the mind even further so that you can call in,
Mm,
what you were really desiring even more so.
yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Yeah. So sometimes it's just picking one card as opposed to like a whole series of them, right?
Well, we could even go deeper to this. It's like, where is it that you want to take a stand? And
hmm
then we could pull like another card, just do a quick shuffle here. Where is it that you want to take a stand? And we're just playing here. Oh, this is too
Yeah.
funny.
Yes. I
Here's
like
your
it.
queen.
There she is. I was going to say, "Where's my queen?" And there she
And
is.
do you know what is just beautiful about these cards side by side is you've got the
hmm
very masculine energy here. And I
hmm
don't mean male and female, I mean just the masculine energy, but also balancing it out with this like the feminine energy. And cups cards are very much about emotions, feelings, like being in flow. This is more like swords are more about the intellect and the mind. And maybe this is your opportunity is to find a harmonization
mm
between these two that is both. How can you integrate that sort of more feminine flow, but also the more masculine decisiveness, leadership and so on.
Yeah, it's very helpful because that's this is kind of where I've been wanting to go, and so I think you're right about this. It's sort of tuning your mind in, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the original question was, where can you take a stand? And we received this Queen of Cups. We maybe
hmm
can take a stand with what you know to be true around how we navigate this life and really
hmm
connecting in with intuition and being present with more of this feminine energy that's available to all of us.
Hmm. Okay. I love it. Well, so another thing is that I think that people are thinking about going into, this realm as far as being able to teach people, help people, and some people do have that gift. I'm curious when you first realized that you had that gift, because it is a gift.
Well, in a way, it is a gift. And I also believe that we all have access to this gift. It lies
hmm
in every one of us. When I first started to read tarot, I thought, oh, okay, I've got to be psychic, right? And I need to have a psychic grandma. I've got to be able to talk to dead people. Like, I've got to see the future very clearly. And what I realized quite quickly is it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, it's the tarot cards that really help us to activate our intuition. And that intuition is inside of all of us. We just had an experience right now where your intuition has been activated by looking at these cards and seeing how that relates to you. And I've worked with so many people from so many different backgrounds. And even
hmm
those who are a little bit resistant or never encountered tarot cards at all, within like 5-10 minutes, we can have them doing like readings and they're accessing all of these new insights about their life. So, yeah, I really do believe that intuition is available to all of us. And
hmm
it's that moment in which we go, yeah, I am going to accept and embrace this as my own natural gift. That's when we get to go, and activate this part of ourselves.
hmm Well, and what kind of advice would you give to people that want to follow this path and feel like they do have a gift or a calling to it?
I think it's important to recognize that sometimes intuition defies logic. So there are many things in our lives, decisions that we have to make. And if we only applied logic, we kind of box ourselves in. And it's tricky though, because I think our society really values logic and science and, things being a certain way, but it doesn't value intuition as much. And like, oh, well, I just had a really good feeling about it, so I did it. But what I'm encouraging people to do is to have those times, like have more spaciousness to drop in and listen to your inner voice and go, okay, even if logic says that the best way would be this, what is it that my intuition is saying? What am I feeling inside of me that's calling me, that's showing me the path, even if it is completely the opposite of what is logical? Then trusting that. It's like 2012, I left my corporate job. I'd worked in corporate for 15 years. I was on a great 6-figure salary. I was working up the corporate ladder. And then my intuition was going, hey, Brigit, I think it's time to leave all of this behind and go and be a tarot reader. That sounds insane, right? My mum was freaking out. She's like, what are you doing? But I was like, no, I know that it is my path. And, fast forward to now, I earn over 10 times as much as I did in my corporate job, and I'm doing what I love. I'm able to impact millions of people. And all of that was because I trusted intuition and I followed it and I allowed it to really lead and guide me in that path.
Ah, I love that. That's my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys. He caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame, and we call that a Hail Mary moment. That moment in your life or career, you just had to go for it. You suppose that's what that was for you?
Yeah, 100%, because it did not make any sense at the time, right? But it doesn't make sense, but it felt right. And everything was showing me that it's just time to make that leap. And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah. Well, part of that, and we talk about that on the show, is that success mindset that you have to have, whether or not you're feeling it or not. Sometimes as creative types, or other people, just a little bit harder on ourselves. So, what do you keep in mind that keeps you on the right path?
Yeah, just really, it is as simple as just trust myself or trust
Mhm.
yourself, just that trust. Because there's so many times when we doubt ourselves. We go like, should I, shouldn't I? And then we try and go to other people. Oh, what do you think I should do? Right. And what happens in that is we're leaking our power, we're leaking our energy, we're not backing ourselves. But when we go, you know what? I trust myself to figure this out, no matter how hard or challenging it is. I trust that everything that I'm doing right now is for my greatest good, that everything is going to work out, even if it doesn't feel like that in this moment. Because, we can probably all relate to those times in our lives when everything feels like it's just turned on its head and is chaotic. But when you have that opportunity to look back and you go, well, isn't that interesting? That allowed me to open up this whole new possibility and opportunity. And so that really, trusting yourself, trusting the universe, trusting that everything is actually all here for your greatest good, then that to me is what feels inspiring and empowering. And that is what helps me like really stay on my path and, in my truth and full authenticity.
Yeah, and protecting your energy, right? That's a big one.
Yeah, and bringing, it's really just bringing it back in, because I really think that we've lived so much of our lives, we're conditioned so much to be relying on external sources all of the time. But where our true power comes from is when we can bring that inwardly. And that's awesome for us as individuals, but it can be scary for society. And I think that's why we've been kind of like pushed down in reclaiming that power. It's easier to like have people extending, focusing on external power, but it's coming back within that really counts.
I love that. Well, and so if someone wants to track you down, tell us exactly that what you can do for them, because you're helping so many people, but I know there's a lot more that need help.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Well, of course, this is the Intuitive Manifesting book, which you can get at all great retailers online and in bookstores. And if this has kind of piqued your interest around tarot, I'd love for you to visit biddytarot.com. We have so many free resources available and lots of great information just to help get started on this journey with this beautiful intuitive tool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for helping us get started on this journey, and we're going to tell everybody to check that out. And I look forward to having you on again with us very, very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
well,
Appreciate
wonderful.
you.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.